Alright, we've had a long break with the boxing over the COVID last year, so the up and coming fights will be Anthony Joshua versus Alexander Usyk, and it's going to be held in London at the Spurs football stadium. And my prediction for that one, the way I see Joshua is that he's a good boxer and he's a very good puncher. He's a good boxer and a very good puncher. And the way I see Usyk is that he's a excellent boxer and a decent puncher. So there's always the chance that Usyk might get it in points, but I think that Joshua could probably land enough power shots to get a stoppage. Normally in London, he will, as we know, get stoppages. He's had a couple of fights that shouldn't have been stopped early, basically. That was an issue, but he'll probably win this one. The British boxing establishment is behind Anthony Joshua. Now, what's going to happen with the other fight? Our man Deontay Wilder, who's I guess the only athlete that I've listened to that within a couple of minutes can just get you on the floor rolling around laughing. And then you get the Gypsy King, and they're going to face each other on the 24th of July. I think it's Las Vegas, T-Mobile Arena, I think it is. So my prediction for that one, I do believe that this goes deeper than the previous couple of encounters, and I'll explain why that is in a second. I do believe that the winner will be the Gypsy King. Now, the American boxing establishment made the decision last month that this fight had to go down. There seemed to be no way that Deontay Wilder was going to take step-aside money, and I don't think anybody in their right mind would reject a $20 million pay offer just to sit there and wait for the winner of the next fight, which would be a definite, undisputed fight, because obviously all the belts are in the hands of the two British champions at the moment. And I think it's even in the best interest of the American boxing board. But for some strange reason, they made the decision. They want this fight. They want the belt back, the WBC belt back. And it just seems to me that America, the company, as it were, if you kind of look at what that is, they want that belt back because maybe they got something up their sleeve. We don't exactly know, but we heard the Glovegate thing. We looked at the list of reasons why Deontay Wilder didn't win the title, and it was one of his recent interviews. He was blaming juju, which is an African term for witchcraft. So he's blamed Tyson Fury's gloves. He said also witchcraft is involved. He said also that it is cheating involved, and the thing that they're trying to say is that his gloves were tampered with. He's also saying that the suit he was wearing on the ring walk was something was wrong with it, or was too heavy, which affected his legs. And the list just goes on and on. It just seems pretty much unsportsmanlike to go through all that. Obviously, something was going on in Deontay Wilder's mind. I'll tell you what that was. Tyson Fury is a believer. Tyson Fury is a Christian. He's a Bible-believing Christian. And Deontay Wilder is very much on board with the New World Order spiritualism, the New Age spiritualism. And I believe that because of Tyson Fury's faith, it basically weakened the demons that Deontay Wilder uses in order to psych himself up for these sporting events. That is the short explanation that I have as to why Deontay Wilder got beat this time. American establishment, if you look at all the sports stars, they're all Masons, they're all very much occultists. I'm not saying Tyson Fury's perfect by any manner of means, or he comes from a gypsy background and what have you. We know that the last encounter we had with Billy Joe Saunders, Billy Joe hasn't publicly spoken about his faith in Jesus Christ. In fact, he's actually admitted that he's been doing things he shouldn't have been doing, and he's been breaking a lot of God's laws, and there's no real evidence that the man has any genuine faith in the Lord. A lot of gypsies we know are professing Christians, but there's spiritual powers and reasons behind, I think, most victories in sport, and that even goes back to the Muhammad Ali victory against George Foreman in the Rumble of the Jungle, where George Foreman was the Christian, and Muhammad Ali, well, he said he was a Muslim, but actually he went to witch doctors and he did a lot of what we call juju against his opponents to weaken them or to tempt them in some way, so as to weaken them. And that's exactly what happened during that bout. George Foreman was weakened in a spiritual sense. He didn't perhaps have the strong enough faith to deal with any of the spiritual attacks that were thrown at him. And a lot of people might find this hard to believe. I've read Muhammad Ali's book. George Foreman is one of my favourite, not only favourite boxers, but one of my favourite sportsmen of all time, because I think he's such a diamond of a man. He's also a preacher, and he works hard, and everything he's got in life he really deserves. But in that fact, I really, as a sports fan, really love Muhammad Ali as well. I read his life story, all the hardships he went through in the South, and all the bigotries and racism he went through. But yes, there was this strong connection with witchcraft and juju that he had. It's undeniable. And so going back to this bout, Tyson Fury versus the American boxing establishment, that's really what this next fight is about for Tyson Fury. And he's facing it head on. He's facing it head on. I think deep down he knew that this would happen. That's why he was staying quiet about the Anthony Joshua bout actually happening. I think he had a feeling deep down that this would actually happen. So I think he just went to prepare himself the best way he can. And again, my personal opinion, the first fight, a lot of the so-called Glovegate allegations, the pictures were taken from the first fight, where Tyson Fury wasn't, maybe only 50% fit. He just came from, ballooning up to over 30 stone, which is over, 300 pounds. And, he was obviously, to face a 12-round fight against a top world-class heavyweight, was a very challenging thing. I felt personally that he won that fight on points, even though he lost at least 2 rounds, 10-8 rounds. I believe he did enough in the other rounds to build up the points tally to win that fight. But it was given a draw, that's fine. The next fight he won, absolutely steamrolled that one in the second fight. The third fight, I believe, is going to be slightly different again. The establishment have clearly got something in mind for Deontay Wilder, that he's used every excuse, as we've said, under the sun for losing the last fight, other than it was his time of the month. He hasn't perhaps used that excuse yet. I'm still waiting for that one, but you never know, it might come very soon. As we know what the New World Order are promoting these days. But anyway, we'll just wait for this to come. I believe there will be a stoppage. Tyson Fury will get a stoppage again. And again, my opinion about the Glovegate thing, as I said, there is such a thing as Photoshop as well. And if you look at most of the pictures from the second fight, the gloves seem to be fine. Some in particular, there's a sort of a deep curve in the right glove. I think the left one is okay. Just the right glove, there's a sort of a deep curve in it. But if you look at the other pictures online, they seem to be fine. It's just the ones on a certain website that had that and then they were taken off. So it's inconclusive if there was any glove tampering. I can't really say there's enough evidence for it. But obviously, in the next fight, that won't be used as can't be used as an excuse for Deontay Wilder, because hopefully there will be the correct people to oversee, what's going on with the gloves. Hallelujah. So, as a sports fan, it's always good to see our top sports stars perform. But on the other hand, in a lot of these sports, there is a lot of spiritual warfare that goes on as well. Just like if you back in the day when countries warred and tribes warred against each other, there was all kind of spiritual warfare going on before these events happened as well, which again is hidden from history. It's not really spoken about in history, but it's very much a part of sporting life these days as well. So it's something that I just wanted to share. Hallelujah. So thank you for listening to this video, and I'll catch you in the next video.